April 15th, the income tax deadline is just a little less than a week away, and tax time gives thieves and con artists a chance to steal your money or your personal information. Local 12 troubleshooter Howard Ain shows you what to look out for.
Time to start preparing your tax returns, but as you'll see, it's also time for con artists to come up with a way to try to beat the system. It's tax time, which also means it may be scam time.
They took the identities, basically names, social security numbers of real people, and without those people's knowledge, they filed fraudulent tax refunds. In
every case, the suspects claimed to be a student and applied for a $1,000 tax credit.
It was irrespective of whether the person was 85 years old and hadn't been to school since they were in high school, or whether the person was 22 years old and was in college.
Then suspects began calling victims, telling them they were entitled to a $500 refund. All they had to do was supply their personal information, and they did.
They filed the fraudulent tax return, claimed that $1,000 student credit, and they requested that the IRS do a split refund. And they would have the IRS issue a $500 check to the victim. Then they would have the IRS issue $500 to them.
This is why the scheme worked and grew so quickly. Victims actually received a $500 check.
This scheme really spread like wildfire because not only do you have a sort of a plausible explanation that there's this stimulus money that's available, all you got to do is submit for it, but they're actually paying out on it.
Postal inspectors are still investigating the case, but they do know 15,000 false returns were filed and there was more than $19 million in losses. Victims didn't realize they were scammed until they filed their tax return.
I've had victims that told me that they were evicted from their home because they didn't get the refund that they expected.
3 suspects were arrested for starting the scheme. Inspectors were shocked to discover all the money was gone.
Most of the money actually just went into lifestyle. It's not their money, so they didn't have to be frugal with it. It's just most of it's just gone.
The most important takeaway from this story, always protect your personal information.
If the government's giving out a stimulus, they know your name, they know your social security number, you will be contacted.
The 3 suspects involved in this case are now all serving between 3 and 20 years in federal prison. Howard Ain, Local 12 troubleshooter.